Hi, my name is Riley, and you won't believe how one stupid lie turned my entire life upside down. I was in 10th grade, my mid-semester results were out, and I had flunked math horribly. I was so scared Mom would freak out, so I lied to her. Mom, I did the test so well. The teacher lost my answer sheet. I cried fake tears and Mom actually believed me. But that night, I felt extremely guilty because last time Mom caught me on my lie, she made me swear on her that I would never hide anything from her. And just as I feared, she shouted from her room that midnight. I ran and saw her lying on the floor, almost unconscious. When we went to the hospital, we got to know she had a mild cardiac arrest. And there's nothing else to blame but me. I broke my promise and God punished Mom for it. I loved Mom so much and I can never see anything like that happen to her anymore. So at that moment, I vowed again that no matter what happens in my life, I would never utter a lie. Luckily, Mom survived and came back home, but we had used all her savings to cover her medical expenses, and there was no more money in the house, not even for school. So from the next day onwards, I started looking for a part-time job. I had a very best friend, Brian, in school who always stood by me.
Why can't you just borrow money from me, Riley? You know my dad is rich. If you don't want his money, I can always sell my limo.
I appreciate it, Brian, but I can't take any of it. I can't lie to Mom. I told her I'm going to stand on my own feet and take care of both of us. Within a week, I got hired as a sales girl at an electronics store. I was handling a customer in the TV section who was keen to buy a particular brand. When he asked my opinion, I gave an honest reply. Sir, actually, we've been getting complaints about the audio system in this TV. I won't recommend buying this. Why don't you go for this other brand? It's cheaper, too. The customer went by my advice and bought the lower range TV. He was happy, but my boss wasn't. He reacted like I'd caused him $1 million loss and fired me. But I got my first day's pay. Brian laughed at me, too, when I told him this.
You are impossible, Riley. You can't work anywhere if you can't lie and fool your customers.
We'll worry about that later. At least I got paid for today's work. I earned something for the first time. Come, let's celebrate. And we went straight to an orphanage. No one comes here to share joy with them. We'll order pizza and play dumb charades with these kids. What do you say?
You take me by surprise each day, Riley. I'm so lucky to have you.
He hugged me, and this time when he looked into my eyes, it felt a bit different. I just ignored it, and we had great fun that day. Next day, when I went to school, Brian gave me a mind-blowing surprise. He was standing outside the classroom with a bouquet of flowers and suddenly went on his knees. I was so not expecting it.
Riley, would you be my girlfriend? Don't ask me what changed, but I think it's last night. The way you made those children smile just touched my heart. You are precious, Riley. I want us to be more than just friends. What do you say?
Brian, what's all this? You're unbelievable. See, I love you too, but only as a friend.
Why? Why can't you see me that way? At least try?
Sorry, but you're making me say this. I don't find you attractive enough, okay? You can't be my boyfriend, and you know I can't lie.
But you can't break my heart. How rude, Riley! You're so mean. I don't want to see you again.
I couldn't believe I just did that. Brian walked away with tears. Just then, a big limousine entered our school campus. All eyes turned towards it, and a super gorgeous girl got down from it. And we saw it was the most famous actress, Sandra. I was awestruck when she walked towards me.
Hey, Riley, I saw you at the orphanage yesterday. I often visit there too, and I heard you treated those kids with your first salary. I really admire you. Are you looking for a job now? Would you like to be my personal assistant?
Oh my, was I even alive? I immediately said yes and went home dancing that evening. But Mom had a weird reaction.
How does she know all this? And how did she manage to locate you today? Something doesn't seem right to me. Say no to her, Riley.
Now I started doubting too. Why would such a big actress come up to me? There was only one person who could tell the answer, and that's Sandra herself. I joined her office and started scheduling her shoots, events, and press meets. Every day, I wanted to ask her why she chose me, but she was always so busy. Luckily, one day, I found her relaxing in her van watching Hear My Story videos. Wow, I love that channel too. Have you guys subscribed yet? Please do. So, I just entered as Sandra finished a video and popped my question. Hey, can I ask you something? What were you doing in the orphanage that day?
That orphanage was my home once. I grew up there until I turned 18. I became this model and moved out, but I still go there sometimes. Because just like you, I love sharing my joy with those kids too.
What? I'm sorry, I didn't know this about your past.
Yeah, nobody knows. I never talk about my childhood in interviews. No idea why I shared this with you, but Riley, please promise to keep this a secret forever.
I promised and intended to keep my word. But then soon I made a blunder, which turned Sandra into a laughingstock in front of the whole media. A big press conference was going on, and Sandra was there to promote her new film. Reporters were asking her all kinds of questions, including personal affairs. One particular reporter was especially keen on doing a story on Sandra's new boyfriend. When she ignored him, he tried getting information from her other staff and assistants off stage. Everyone was smart enough to brush him aside, but I couldn't avoid him and blundered out the truth. Yes, she is dating her co-star, but why do you care so much? A celebrity shouldn't have a private life? Before I could regret or take back my words, the news was breaking all over the media and the internet. That evening when Sandra got a call from a producer saying he was canceling the contract of her upcoming film, I saw Sandra fighting on the phone.
You can't throw me out. There was no clause in our contract that I can't date my co-actor. Why is he still in the film and I'm getting checked out?
Turns out, Sandra's boyfriend was already married to someone else and had 2 kids. My truth ruined his clean image, and now his wife was threatening to leave him. He was going crazy and taking all his anger out on Sandra, trying to get her out of work. I knew very well Sandra would fire me, so the next day, I didn't even go to her. I was feeling very low, and I knew who would make me feel better. Brian. We never spoke after that spoiled proposal day, but I badly wanted us to get back together. So the moment I saw him starting off his car, I blocked his way.
Ellie, are you trying to kill yourself?
I might, actually, if you don't talk to me right now. I'm sorry about what I said that day, but I just can't survive without you. You're the only person I can think of at good and bad times. Can we please just get back to normal?
You broke my heart, Riley. Since that day, I've been trying to change my whole personality. I've hired the best stylist, got a new haircut. But what's the point when you still won't find me hot enough? What? Say something!
I wasn't listening to anything Brian was saying. I was too stunned to see him looking so handsome and dashing like a hero. I blushed a little and eventually spoke up. It feels weird to say this, but you're looking drop-dead handsome, Brian. All girls must be crushing over you right now. But I still don't want to talk about that. I'm here because of my feelings for you. I went down on my knees and proposed to him, just like the way he did a week ago. Before he could reply anything, a limo drove into my college, and it felt like deja vu. This time, it wasn't Sandra, it was her manager. He said Sandra wants to see me immediately. I was in the middle of a proposal, and Sandra's manager was hurrying me up on one side. I didn't want to leave Brian in that situation again, but I wasn't officially fired, so I had to follow Sandra's words, too. So I walked off with the manager. I was sitting face to face with Sandra, completely baffled.
Thank you, Riley. Thank you for telling the truth to the media. You saved me from a huge disaster.
And she hugged me and started crying.
I was madly in love. I didn't see that the jerk was just exploiting me. The moment our affair became public, he showed his true colors. This wouldn't have happened if you had not told the truth. I am so glad you did it, Riley.
What on earth is happening here? Somebody is thanking me for speaking out the truth? Sandra was not only grateful to me for her perfect breakup, but also a little sorry for my spoiled proposal moment in college. She wanted to make up for it, so she drove me to Brian's house herself. As we both walked in, he got boggled seeing us.
You left me alone and now come back with a celebrity? What are you trying to show off? What exactly do you want, Riley?
I just want to know if you love me or not. I accept that I was being shallow when I rejected you earlier, but I've realized my mistake. What matters the most is inside your heart. Sorry I judged you earlier. Would you take me back? As Brian stood still, I lost all hope. When suddenly, Sandra spoke to Brian.
Boy, don't let this girl go. She just speaks her mind, and that's her only fault. She's silly, but she really likes you. Don't let her one mistake change your feelings for her.
Then she slowly held my hand and we both turned to leave. But just then, Brian stopped me.
Riley, I love you more than I've loved anyone else in this world. I want to be with you forever. Please, don't leave.
I immediately turned back to him with tears and we hugged each other tightly. Sandra joined us in the hug too. However, soon our love life hit the biggest hurdle. Brian wanted to introduce me to his parents, but since they were super wealthy, he wanted me to pretend rich in front of them. I strongly objected. You know, Brian, I can never lie. I've sworn to my mom.
I understand, Riley. I don't care about your background, but my parents do. I promise I'll tell them the truth eventually, but could we please ease them into it?
We can't build a relationship on lies. You're free to break up with me if you can't tell my reality to your parents. I walked away angrily, and it's been days since Brian talked to me. We barely dated for 1 month, and now I'm crying over him in front of Sandra. I'm not rich. My family is not. How can I lie about it?
You don't have to lie because someone in your family is really rich. Go home and ask your mom. She'll tell you the truth.
The way she stressed on the word truth, I sensed something was wrong. I went back to Mom, and my random question put her really off. However, for the first time, I strongly felt Mom was hiding something from me. I kept pestering her, and finally, she let out the truth.
Okay, I'll tell you. I hid this from you. You've a big sister. She was born out of wedlock, so I couldn't keep her with me. I gave her away to an orphanage. She's Sandra.
Mom, how could you? You always tell me not to lie, and you hide the biggest secret of our lives? Why, Mom? What if she was born out of wedlock? You should be proud of her now that she is so successful on her own. You know, she's my role model. And just then, Sandra entered the room. She overheard our conversation and hugged me. It was the happiest day of my life because my mom finally opened up and accepted her elder daughter. I was glad we finally united and became a complete family. Soon, Brian's parents got to know that I was the sister of a rich celebrity and wanted their son to date me now. Brian came to me 100 times apologizing too. But I wasn't gonna accept him until I ghosted him for a little while. After all, what's the fun in love without these silly fights and ghostings? Yet sometimes, we end up choosing a path that's far away from that love. Just like my friend Emma did, and all I could hope for her is to find true love in that blind journey. Come watch her story.
Nathan, where are you? It's our wedding day, remember? Yes, of course I'm here. Where are you? Babe, I love you. Why are you doing this to me? Again?
At the courthouse, Emma, beautifully dressed as a bride, is frustratingly trying to coerce her fiancé to show up and marry her.
What do you mean she's late? I thought that she was the ringer. I've got less than 20 minutes. I don't care how you do it, just find me a bride. And you've got less than 20 minutes.
Wait, it's Amber, isn't it? Nate? Nathan? Did you hang up on me?
Meanwhile, a panicked Eric is talking to his assistant and is still desperate to find himself a bride.
You have to understand that if this marriage doesn't happen, there is no business, there is no money. I've got less than 10 minutes now. Just find me a bride.
Heartbroken, and now fueled by a jealous spite, after realizing the depth of Nathan's betrayal, Emma approaches Eric Roberts.
I'll marry you. Will you marry me?
Look, miss, I appreciate the offer, but I've already got a bride. I just don't know where she is.
Yeah, are you sure about that, Romeo? Look, my fiancé is clearly having an affair and afraid to commit, so it is over. And it's obvious the time isn't on your side either. Plus, what am I supposed to do with these flowers?
Okay, fine. Let's get married.
Eric Roberts has never believed in love, let alone marriage. However, being forced with the very real possibility that he is about to lose his business and personal fortune, he is between a rock and a hard place. So today, he has no choice but to finally get married. Today.
I call this court to order. We are gathered here today by witness of the state to marry you, Eric Roberts, and you.
Tell the judge your name.
Emma Miller.
After hearing her speak her name, Eric is taken aback. For the first time, he really looks at Emma, and her beauty mesmerizes him. Who is Emma Miller, and why is she getting married so hastily? To a total stranger at that. Has Emma fallen into a trap in desperation? To find out, listen to the audiobook, The Billionaire's Accidental Bride.